In this video, I've got a recording of a call that I had with Adam from Niche Website Builders, or maybe it's Niche Website Builders if you're in the States. Adam is an experienced affiliate marketer. He's got a portfolio of his own websites that generate him a lovely six-figure income. But not only does he have his own sites, he also helps people like you and me with their sites. And he does this by providing services through his company, Niche Website Builders. Services on offer are perfect for someone that's looking for a kind of one-stop shop for affiliate marketing stuff. So rather than going over to Upwork and trying to hire your own writers, you can just go to these guys. They've got a great team of UK-based writers that are, graduates with degrees in English, all that kind of stuff. So they provide a fantastic content service. Not only are they able to provide you content, but they'll also research it and publish it to your site as well. Content's not the only thing. They've also got some great link building services and a few other things that I think you guys are going to find really interesting. So because I thought you'd find it interesting, I managed to secure some discount coupons, which you'll find if you follow that link that's a bit up there. And also there's a link in the description. It's a link to a page on their website that they've kindly created for WP Eaglers, and all you got to do is pop your email address in and you'll get access to free coupons that you can use on their website. I should say that that's an affiliate link, so if you do go over there and purchase anything, I will earn a commission. Thank you. Thank you very much. If you use any of my affiliate links, I really appreciate it. Now, Adam and his team have been providing some services to me on my website, bestroofbox.com. It's very early days, so not much to report just yet. But of course, I will do some update videos as stuff starts to happen. Anyway, let's get back to this video and the interview that I'm about to show you. So during the call, we cover lots of different topics. We talk about things like expired domains, which Adam and his team are experts on. He talks about the benefits of using expired domains and some of the things you need to be aware of when you're choosing a domain. The good thing about an expired domain is it can sometimes enable you to avoid the sandbox, the Google sandbox, which I know a number of you are aware of, which happens on new domains and can stop you getting traffic for up to 6 months after launching your site. We also talk about an amazing case study project they're currently working on and sharing with people. And basically what that is they've taken an expired domain and they're looking to build up a site as quickly as possible. And not just a small site, a really big site. They're aiming to add 1 million words of content. So that's a serious content investment. And yeah, we talk in depth about that, what kind of thing they're doing, how he creates his content, how he comes up with ideas for content, loads and loads of topics. I really enjoyed the call and, well, I hope you guys do too. It's full of useful tips and ideas. But anyway, I think that's enough of me talking about how good it is. I think we should just watch it and see how good it is. But one quick thing before we do that, if you're not already subscribed, why not do so right now? Just click on that button, the red one below, the one that says subscribe, and click that bell and you'll be notified when I upload a video and when I go live on YouTube, which tends to happen twice a week at the moment. One other really quick thing, if you enjoy this video, if you find it useful in any way, please click the like button below. It really helps me out. But anyway, that's enough intro. Roll the tape. So I've got Adam on the line right now. As I mentioned, he's got a fantastic project on the go at the moment where they're going to be putting together 1 million words of content. So I'm going to be asking him about that in a bit more detail. But yeah, Adam, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
Yeah, could you just introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are and what you're about, and get us up to speed in terms of how you got to this point?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Adam Smith. I'm the co-founder and co-owner of a marketing agency that help affiliate website owners called Niche Website Builders. We have a Facebook group which you can join and have a look. But essentially, the agency helps niche website owners with content and link building. So they are our two main services. But also more and more, we're finding that we're helping clients with expired domains. And we'll get into a little bit more about that later on, I guess. But
yeah, we will.
about myself personally, I still own my own portfolio of websites. So that's kind of how I got started in this game. I was an affiliate marketer myself, had a decent 6-figure portfolio of sites, and was on a podcast actually talking about my frustrations around finding good quality content providers and the frustrations around, finding a service partner that could help me scale my portfolio of websites. And my partner Mark heard me on there, and he was facing similar kind of issues. So we got chatting and said, why don't we start something we wish was there? And that's how the company was born, essentially. So that was 11 months ago, and here we are today.
Yeah, I think you're offering a fantastic service. And by the way, there is links in the description of this video. It's a special link to one of my bespoke landing pages that the guys have created, and you'll find some coupon codes on there, get you discounts off their services, and you can find out more. But obviously, we'll talk about it as well a little bit. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I think as an affiliate marketer, obviously you start off keen and you do a lot of the work yourself. You write your own content, you build your own websites, you do your own research, basically do everything. But then it gets to a point where that's just too much, because it's not easy being an affiliate marketer. There is a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of content to be created and all the other jobs that come with it. So I think you've definitely tapped into something that a lot of us need, because at the moment we're trying to manage it ourselves by taking on freelancers and trying to build a team that way. But to have a kind of one-stop shop for services for affiliates, I think is a fantastic idea. So you're obviously still an affiliate marketer, which is great. So you've actually kind of cut your teeth by actually being in the trenches and doing what affiliate marketers do, and obviously getting some great success off it. So just tell us a little bit more. What kind of services are you offering exactly?
So you're right, 100%. We've kind of cut our teeth, and it's interesting you mentioned there that when you first start out, you kind of want to do everything yourself. That's exactly the way I started when I bought my first site. I was kind of the jack of all trades, to wear all the hats. I was working a full-time job when I bought my first site. So it was evenings, weekends, writing content, doing all the technical SEO, the keyword research, formatting, uploading, literally everything fell to me, which was great because, I invested just my time, which was cool. I didn't spend a ton of money, but on the flip side, I burnt myself out pretty quickly. Like that first website was over a 7-month period, and by the time I finished, I couldn't stand to look at content anymore. I just didn't have the heart to do it anymore myself. So the services that we offer kind of take away those pain points. You come to us with your affiliate website, and we have an initial onboarding call, and we talk to you about your site, and it's find out about your goals and aspirations for the website, kind of your experience of how you got to that point. And then from there, then we will chat around how we can help you with the site. So typically that's content. And we'll go away then and we'll do all of the keyword research using the same proprietary methods that we use for our own websites. So you get back from us a full keyword research plan that covers typically 3 different types of content. So best of guides, single product reviews, and informational content. And that plan will typically cover you for the next 6 to 12 months. And then as well as doing that plan, then once we've agreed on how we should tackle that content, so in what order and kind of what split between informational and commercial content, we have a team then of UK-based writers who are based here in Wales with me. The majority of them have degrees in things like English literature or English language or creative writing. Some even have some journalistic experience in their background there as well. So the content is good. So we create that content for you. And then finally, then we format and upload to the website. So it's essentially a full hands-off service. You come to us and say, I want 30,000 words a month of good quality content in this niche. We'll go away and we'll do all the research. We'll create good quality content. We'll format it and we'll upload it to the website for you. So at the end of the month, you just come in, you review the posts, and essentially you hit publish. So it's you don't have to worry. You don't have that headache of wondering, have I got enough content this month? Is the site growing? It's all kind of taken care of there.
That's fantastic. That's really good. And by the way, I will say that Adam and his team are going to be doing a few things for me on my site, Best Roofbox, which is obviously my affiliate site. So I'm going to be documenting that as we go forward. I'll be keeping you guys up to date with exactly how it's going and what kind of stuff they've done with the site. In fact, the service that you're helping me with is your Skyscraper kind of service. Can you just explain
Yeah,
what that
sure.
is?
So that's a link building service, and it's essentially the link building technique or method that authority hackers use. They're the ones who coined the Skyscraper technique, and essentially it's where we go out into the niche. So in your instance, in the box niche, we go out into the niche, into the market, and we have a look at other types of content that naturally gaining backlinks. So they're natural backlink magnets. And from there, we compile a list of topics that we could create and we think we could do a better job of that would also naturally gain these kind of links. And typically these are informational pieces of content, typically very in-depth, 5, 6, 7,000 words in length. We have some nice custom graphics made for them, so they look really nice and looks the total opposite of a standard affiliate piece of content, basically.
Yeah, there's no stock photos
No,
using
nothing
anything
like
that.
that.
No.
And then from there, then I guess that part's the easy part, essentially, of this service, where we do all that research and we create the content. The hard part then is where we go out and we find thousands of prospects who are in the niche, who are relevant to your niche, who have either linked to content that's similar, or we think their audience would benefit linking to a piece of content like this. We collect up all of their details, and then we start a manual outreach process where we reach out to them, we tell them about the piece of content, we ask them do they want to link back to it, and essentially we manage that whole inbox negotiation back and forth process. And by doing that, it serves two purposes. One, it's link building at scale. So by the end of a typical campaign, there are lots of links built versus where you typically would buy a couple of guest posts or a couple of niche edits. In this instance, it's link building at scale. And then on the flip side, you also tend to get links back from websites that you typically wouldn't get access to from maybe a guest posting service. These are, real websites where they may not have a, right for us section on the website or a guest post section on the website. And more often than not, they link back to the piece of content for free because they're invested in their audience and they think their audience would enjoy and get value from this piece of content. So it's the total, or lots of the links are the total opposite of what you would typically get from just buying a guest post.
Well, and you don't have to keep supplying all these sites lots of articles, or to get your guest posts. You don't have to keep sending them articles. They're just going to link to your content because it's worth linking to, which is kind of the very basics and the very essence of why Google counts links, is because people link to stuff that's really good. So you create something that's fantastic and people just link to it because it's good and it's all very natural and all very good. But obviously quite a lot of work and you've obviously invested in a lot of processes and software and things, which your team was talking to me about the other week in terms of how you manage this and get it all done, which is kind of opened my eyes, and I'm really excited to see what kind of results you're going to get for me. Okay, well, so that's what the service is, and I don't want this video to be a sales pitch, so let's talk about this new project that sounds really interesting and really big, I would say. But yeah, give us an overview of what you're trying to achieve with this kind of case study project that you're running.
So the case study project is a brand new website built on quite a powerful expired domain. So as I mentioned earlier, we do quite a lot with expired domains now. We are, I think, quickly becoming the go-to people for help with building sites on expired domains, which is cool. But essentially, this project is to build a website from scratch and add 1 million words of content as quickly as we can. And the content will be split 50-50, informational and commercial content. We're going to be documenting the process kind of at each step. And then essentially, the most important part are the results. What the results look like? Is it a success? How much money have we put in? What's the ROI been? Because I think at the moment there's nothing quite like that out there, where someone has built on a powerful domain and they've put the resources in there to build.
I don't think anyone's gone that big, not that public anyway, with something that big
exactly.
Anyway. So let's break that down a little bit. So let's talk about expired domains, because you mentioned them a couple of times. A lot of people aren't going to be very familiar with expired domains. I've got to say, my kind of default when I'm thinking about setting up a new site and I've come across a niche maybe that I want to do some work on, is I'll just head over to GoDaddy or Namecheap or whatever, and I'll just register a new domain. So I'll try and find something that's either brandable or has got some keywords in it or whatever. But obviously you take a different approach. What is an expired domain and what are the benefits of having an expired domain?
Sure. So An expired domain, or an auction domain, as it's sometimes called, is essentially a domain where a website used to be on there. So it could have been Dave down the road started a website all about dogs, for example, and he ran that website for many years. And over those years, the website gained lots of backlinks and has lots of authority and domain authority in the eyes of Google. And then Dave decides one day that he wants to close down his website. He doesn't want to sell it. He just closes it down. And typically what happens then is it goes to, instead of the name, just the domain going back into the pool where you can go to Namecheap to register it, the domain registrars actually see that there's value in that domain because of the links that are still pointing there. So over its course of time, Dave may have got links from, the New York Times or Business Insider, or, all these kind of high quality relevant links. So that the registrar sees the value in that. And then instead of just releasing it back into the crowd, they typically put it up for auction. So GoDaddy is one of the biggest auctions, and you can go to GoDaddy and go to the auction, the expired domain auction section there. And you'll see, there's hundreds of thousands of domains that are up for auction. Now, typically, like 99.5% of all those are rubbish. They're just domains which, they're rubbish. They have little SEO value, but there's a small percentage of those domains which have value to SEOs like us, and they have value because all of those links are still live and they're all pointing to that domain. And if you put it in a tool like Ahrefs or SEMrush, then you can actually see those links are still live, and you can see that it has a good domain authority, and you can see that it has a good trust flow score. And we essentially evaluate our expired domains based on all of those different metrics. And then you can go back to archive.org, Wayback Machine, and then have a look to see exactly what that website was. And you can make sure that it's relevant to the niche. So you want to make sure that what the website used to be is highly relevant to what you want to use it for now. So Dave's dog walking business would be good for a dog affiliate website, for example. And that's kind of what an expired domain is, and why we use them is because we're able to harness all of that old power and authority. It doesn't go away when somebody deletes the website. All of those links stay live, and then when we start a website on there are specific techniques that we use to try and capture all of that link juice and reharness and repurpose it into our affiliate content. And the pros of doing this are, typically you don't have the standard sandbox period. So, that usual 6 months or 8 months.
Yeah, new domains often.
So you typically don't tend to see that. They tend to start ranking a lot quicker. And the other reason is that you don't have to invest so much in link building, because the website already has maybe 400 or 500 referring domains, which on the grand scheme of things, if you were to buy those links, some of them you wouldn't even be able to buy because if they're on sites like New York Times or whatever. But typically if you were looking to buy those, then it would cost you way more than it would cost to buy an expired domain.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how much is an expired domain, or is that a very big question? Does it really depend on the domain and its history and all that?
Yeah, it depends. With expired domains, it's difficult to price them, essentially, because it's not like a website asset. If you're going to sell a website, then you have a tangible value in that the website makes $500 a month. And we know the current valuations are around 30, 35 times that monthly revenue. But for a domain that doesn't have a revenue, it's not revenue generating, so you can't base it off that. So the price of domains vary based on what the link profile looks like itself. So does it have links from very powerful websites? Are they super relevant to the niche that you want to build a site in? How many links does it have? Does it have a strong trust flow score? Does it have a very high DR rating? And all those kind of feed in to how much a domain would cost. But you can pick them up anything, a week expired domain for a couple of $100, all the way to there was one recently which was in the UK. Funnily enough, it was the Help to Buy website. I don't know if you saw that on the news.
No, I didn't see that. What was that?
Recently, the Help to Buy scheme in the UK, the initial website was built on something like helptobuy.co.uk. And then after several months, they switched the website over to helptobuy.gov.uk. And then someone in the government forgot to tick the auto renew on the old .co.uk, which still had all these powerful links.
Okay.
And then it expired and it went to auction. And I forget how much it went for, but it was something like £60,000 or something like that. Somebody bought it.
Wow. Did it have like a load of links from government websites and that kind of
Banks,
stuff?
like links you could never buy. They were, they had links from banks and all kinds of sites you could never buy. And if you go there now, I'll send you over the link after the call. But if you go there now, somebody has repurposed that website into an affiliate site. It doesn't look like an affiliate site, but it's essentially a mortgage checker affiliate website now. So.
Wow, and then we all know that the commissions in that kind of finance space are huge, so they're probably confident they're going to get their 60,000 back. Wow, that's really interesting. So you would actually build on that domain? You wouldn't just kind of redirect that domain over to an existing domain, you'd actually put something on that expired domain?
So build from scratch as if it's a brand new website. And then, like I mentioned, there are a couple of different tactics and techniques we use to ensure that we reclaim all of that link juice. So typically we look for expired domains where most of the referring domains are to the homepage. So when you create your homepage, you can set up your site structure in a way that funnels all that link juice through to your category pages. So we use custom category pages when we make websites, and then through to all of the affiliate content, basically. So we're funneling that juice through, and then you'll always have referring domains or links back to pages, like individual pages. So Dave's dog walking website may have had a page on his opening times, for example, and that might have had 10 backlinks too, which are worth keeping. So in that instance, you can either recreate that page on your affiliate website and kind of hide it away from the navigation, and then all of those links are still live to that one page on your website, and use some internal linking back through to your main content. Or you can redirect that page to a related piece of content, new content that you've created.
Okay. That makes sense. So how does Google feel about all this? I mean, obviously Google, I guess, can detect that the domain has expired and that the site has changed, but it's fine with that, is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those grey areas, essentially, where, and I've thought long and hard about this, so we'll probably get into this a little bit later on about, my own personal portfolio of expired domains, but I'm heavily invested into this space on a personal level, and based on that, I've had to kind of think long and hard about the potential risks of going down this route. Yeah. And I mean, I can't really come up with a way that they could police this properly, because domains expire all the time accidentally. I mean, even recently, I think it was Google lost one of their blogger domains recently. I think it was like the blogger India domain. They let it expire and somebody registered it.
Okay.
And then Google bought it back, or they got it back somehow. But there's no way that they would be able to reset the power of that domain every time it expired, because this happens all the time to legitimate businesses. Businesses forget to renew their domain, and then they lose it and they get it back. And I can't see a way that they could police this easily or in a way that makes sense, basically. So I don't see there's too much risk from Google there in terms of them detecting that you're doing this. And then in terms of how it works, I mean, it works really well at the moment, and it's been really well for a number of years.
It just works.
We'll just keep doing it until it works.
So, okay, we'll just talk a little bit more about expired domains, because it is a really interesting subject. So when you're going to go and choose an expired domain, how do you go? Is there a process that you're going through to choose one? I'd imagine there's also some risks involved, because if you pick up a domain that maybe has had some other SEO techniques used on it that may have been penalised by Google, if you pick that expired domain up, then surely you're going to be picking up that penalty as well. So what's the process you're going through to make sure that you pick an expired domain that's actually still quite valuable?
Yeah, you're 100% right. There's a definite process, and there's so many nuances with picking an expired domain that these days, even if 95% of our boxes are ticked, but one thing doesn't look quite right, we walk away, just because, I mean, typically when you buy an expired domain for a couple of thousand, you're going to invest a couple of thousand on content. You might as well wait a couple of weeks to find one that's 100%, ticks 100% of the boxes rather than,
So otherwise you could end up quite out of pocket if you start investing a lot of stuff and then suddenly you realize that it's never going to be able to rank because it's got a massive penalty on it or something.
So there are a couple of different things that we do. The first one is look at the metrics, and we look at metrics from Ahrefs and SEMrush, Majestic, and Moz. So we look at all of those different metrics to figure out, one, if it's powerful enough for us to build a website on. Does it have enough authority? Does it have enough backlinks? What do those backlinks look like? I mean, do they look natural? And not an easy way, but a good way to check that is to just manually look at what the links are, and then to look at the anchor text profile to see, does it look natural? Is it typically branded anchor text to the website? What you don't want to see there are any Japanese characters or any Chinese characters or anything that looks unnatural, that looks like someone's been building links. Because what we want to pick up with an expired domain is essentially a legitimate business that built up their business over a number of years and then has either gone bust or closed down. And typically, the sites that we want to pick up there, they won't have been building backlinks. They won't have an anchor text profile that's full of, best.
It's all just natural links they've got, yeah.
And then the other really important thing to look at is to look very carefully and closely in archive.org in the Wayback Machine to have a look at what the website used to be. So Archive takes snapshots of websites, every website pretty much, over, and they take them sometimes, every month or every couple of months. And you can go back and you need to check in depth pretty much every 6 months of Wayback for these websites, because what can sometimes happen, and you can easily get caught out here, is somebody, the website may have expired, somebody buys it and then recreates the old website. So it looks exactly the same, but they've just inserted some PBN links on the homepage or on one of the powerful pages. And the only way you can find that is by literally manually looking for them in Wayback. The website looks the same. If you were just scanning through, you'd think, oh, this looks the same. The website hasn't changed. It's been the same website for the last 15 years, but it's easy to get caught out in that way. So a very strong due diligence process in looking at Wayback Machine as well.
Okay. And you mentioned a couple of £1,000. Is that kind of an average sort of price that you might look to pay for a domain?
Yeah. So we work with clients on a variety of budgets. Typically around like $1,500 is kind of like the minimum typically that we'd want to work with, just because we want to make sure that it's worth the upfront investment. And we want to make sure that it has enough authority and power for us to kickstart an affiliate website on. But I mean, the domain that we've bought for the 1 million word project cost us close to $7,000. So it's quite a big step up. But I mean, if we're going to be investing all that money in content, we might as well go big on the domain up front.
Yeah, in for a penny, in for a pound, as they say, I think somewhere. Okay, let's go back to the project then. So you're going to create 1 million words. You mentioned that you've already got a team of writers. Are those the writers that are going to be producing this content?
So it's our team of writers that work for Niche Website Builders. We've been struggling with capacity since we started because we've grown quite quickly. So we've always literally been to capacity. All the orders that we come in, we've only ever had enough capacity to fulfill our client orders. But over the last couple of months, we've been working really hard and diligently on increasing our capacity more than what our client orders are. So now we've got a bit of free capacity in the system. We're going to be using that team to create this content for us.
Okay, that brings me on actually quite nicely to my next question, which is, how do you find good writers?
Yeah, I mean, we're quite lucky, to be honest. So all of the writers sit here with me in the UK, in Wales. We don't outsource any content, and we were really blown away. So we put some job adverts out on Indeed looking for content writers, and we thought we were going to really struggle to find people with the right skill set around the area that we live. But I mean, the first advert that we put out, I think we had almost 300 applications. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and it typically tends to be it's people who have been to university and either have degrees or master's degrees in creative writing or English literature, and typically they've got they're either in the process of writing like their own novel, or they've got their own book blog, or they're invested in writing like just as a hobby anyway, and they can't find a job to do with their degree or to do with their passion, which is essentially reading and writing. So when they saw this job come up that we're looking for content creators, it's almost like like they won the lottery kind of thing.
Yeah, an actual job that
Yeah,
involves
and they could
writing.
get paid a salary, and everyone's paid a salary. They're all full-time employees, so they have the company benefits, they have a pension scheme, and they just almost couldn't believe their luck that they could get paid for doing what they did as a hobby. So in terms of finding the talent, it hasn't been that hard. But then obviously that's just raw talent. So we have to then turn that into the talent that we need, which is writing for affiliate websites.
Yeah, but I guess you've written a few articles and bits of content yourself, so you must have a kind of structure or a template or some sort of way that you put articles together, which I guess you can then scale up by training your writers to follow that. Wow. So, but let's go back in time a little bit. Before you had your team of writers that are obviously on the payroll, you must have outsourced to writers,
yes.
Did you? And how did you find that? How did you find your writers when you're doing that? And how did you manage them?
So I've tried quite a few avenues for content writers. I tried places like Upwork, which it can be good. It's a lot of time investment to find the right people on Upwork and to find them for the right budget, essentially. The only problem with finding people on Upwork is scale. I mean, you can find one good person and they may be able to push out, 15,000 words a week for you. But when you have a portfolio of, 5 or 6 sites, that one person just isn't enough to be able to push out the kind of content that you want. And you're dealing with an individual who, has other priorities, right? You're not their number one priority most of the time. So, deadlines get missed or quality slips a little bit some months or some weeks. And then, on the rare occasion, they just stop communicating. Like they just,
they just disappear.
So I've tried that avenue and tried finding writers there. But I also then tried agencies, other agencies before we started ours. And I won't mention the name of them, but we had a very bad experience with one agency in that we tried them for several small kind of orders to start with, and they were good. They were pretty good for the price. And then we asked them, could we start sizing up the order and could they handle it? And they said, yeah, no problem. And then we put in our first order for a couple of 100,000 words. And what came back was an absolute mess. Like, it's clear that they couldn't handle it and they just outsourced it to non-native English. And some of the content was good, and then some was literally like unreadable. So.
Right, yeah. So that's a little bit inconsistent, and that's not really what you need, is it, when you're trying to get content up quickly? And you definitely don't want to be rewriting content or anything like that. And yeah, there's tons of cheap writers out there that can bang you out content as quick as you like, but whether it's readable and whether it's of any value is
exactly
negligible. Okay, so that's interesting. So talking about this project that you've got at the moment, I guess you've already got a bit of a keyword and an article plan put together in terms of the kind of content you're going to create. How do you research what content you're going to create for a particular project? Is there any particular tool that you use?
Yeah.
What's the kind of process you go through to come up with your ideas for content?
So there's 2 ways that we approach keyword research, and the 2 methods vary depending on if it's a brand new website on a fresh domain, so it's not an expired domain, or if it's either an expired domain or an existing website that already has some authority. So in this instance, it's method 2. And we use a variety of tools for that. So we use SEMrush and Ahrefs quite extensively. But mainly it's to do with Excel manipulation and then just manually Googling the keywords. It's a time-consuming process.
Yeah.
I think people always look for like a silver bullet with keyword research tools, which ones are going to give me the best. But it's to be done right, it's time consuming. So without going into too much detail, because it's it's kind of like our secret sauce for our keyword research. But
yeah, your secret sauce. Yeah, I don't want you to reveal your secret mix of herbs and spices, but
I can give you,
yeah, just the top layer of it.
So
yeah.
essentially, what we are doing is we are looking for competitors who have weaker domains or who are on weaker domains than ours. And in this instance, for our project domain, of the list of competitors we came up with, our domain is literally the strongest in the niche. So we know that this can be a niche dominating website. So that gives us then plenty of opportunities to look at what content is working for all these competitors on weaker domains. And I mean, we know that that website content is very much an 80-20. It's the 80-20 rule. It's the classic definition. Almost any website you go to, 20% of their content is driving 80% of their traffic. So our method involves a process that allows us to pull out the top 20% from all of our competitors and use that to create our full list, basically.
So you are just trying to focus on that content that is working for other guys and just trying to recreate it but better.
That's right. And recreate it but better, create it with our native English team, make sure that all the on-page is set up correctly, and all of the things in the back end, like the site structure, the internal linking, all of that typically is better than what's on page one anyway, because we've been doing this for a long time. So that combined with good quality content usually ensures that we're able to rank pretty well.
Wow. So just quickly talking about SEO and on-page stuff, you build your sites with WordPress,
yep,
is that
that's
right? Do you use an SEO plugin? Because there's a lot of talk nowadays of people ditching the SEO plugins and just kind of using WordPress as it is, maybe, the odd small plugin. But do you use something, for example, like Yoast or Rank Math or any of those guys?
Yeah, we use Rank Math on our news sites. We used to use Yoast, but we've made the switch over to Rank Math now. And essentially, we use that mainly just because it's a nice, easy way to get a sitemap created. It already has inbuilt schema markup, like basic schema markup. So it already has all that built in there. I mean, you can connect it up to your Search Console in the settings as well if you wanted to. I don't personally feel super comfortable about giving Rank Math access to my Search Console data, but you can do that.
Yeah. You can, yeah.
So that's the plugin that we use. But I mean, in terms of like other types of plugins that we use, it's very plugin light. We have a couple of go-to ones. So we use AAWP to pull in all of the images from Amazon, which are T's and C's compliant, because you can't just download an image from Amazon and re-upload it.
No, unless you use the site stripe, which is not very flexible. No, I'm a big fan of AAWP, and of course, guys, you'll find a link below this video to that. I've done lots of videos on it. I think it's a fantastic way to pull products in from Amazon and display them and do tables and all kinds of lovely looking things very easily. Okay, AAWP. Anything else? We use
Spencer Hawes Link Whisper for internal linking. And that has a very nice feature inbuilt now where you can tick the box and only build internal links to the same category. So it allows us to create virtual silos within our internal linking. So essentially, all of the posts in one category, all internally linked to each other and not outside of that category. And then we also use, it's called YARP, yet another related post plugin, I think it's called.
Plugin. I use that as well.
And in the settings there, it's similar. You can set like the match threshold if you want to match it on the title or the body or the category. So it essentially allows you to create those related posts, but only within your category. So again, keeps it in check with that internal virtual silo then. So we use...
Wow, that sounds really good. Yeah.
Yep.
They're your main ones,
yeah, and then, and this is probably a little bit controversial, but we use Thrive as our page builder. And I think the jury's out on page builders. People either love them or they hate them. And typically they have their favorite, and then nothing else is as good as their favorite. But
no, I've just recently discovered Thrive and I am enjoying it. I used to use Elementor a lot. I still like Elementor, and I've been playing with a few others. There's Oxygen that's out there now, and Brizzy. But a lot of people say, well, don't use page builders because that's going to slow down your site, and then a slow site is not going to do well on the search engines. Or if you are going to use a page builder, then just use it for your home page, and maybe a couple of other pages. Don't use it for your content. But then I'm under the impression, and I may be wrong, that if you want to create a fantastic bit of content that does look really good and all that kind of stuff, it's easier to do that with a page builder.
100%.
So what are your thoughts? Do you use the page builder throughout the site, or is it just for certain parts of it?
I use it throughout the site. So, I mean, I've got my own portfolio of sites that do quite well, and they're all built on Thrive. So I've got no qualms in recommending Thrive to clients, because I know that you can build fairly decent portfolios with it. And I mean, most sites get to the point where you want to put display ads on the website. And I mean, it doesn't matter whether you've built it with a page builder or whether you've built it with Oxygen or whatever the super fast alternatives are. Then, I mean, display adverts are going to slow down your site anyway. It makes no difference if you use a page builder or not.
Yeah. No, they're going to have the biggest effect on the actual overall speed. But let's just quickly touch on that a little bit further. So, does the speed of your site have much of an effect on your rankings?
I've not seen anything like that. I mean, we do the as much optimization as we can. So we minify all of the JS, the JS and the CSS. And we're mindful when we upload images that we upload them into the correct size, rather than have WordPress automatically kind of scale them down.
Yeah.
But essentially, we just do the basic stuff in terms of our site speed. We want to make sure that it's as fast as we can without literally going to the ends of the earth to try and squeeze out another half a second. Because, I mean, to the end user on the user experience, does it really make a difference? I don't think so. And I've not.
As long as it feels reasonably fast when you're browsing the site, that's the main thing. You don't want to be waiting. But I think a lot of people do get obsessed with the Google Page Speed tool and continuously striving for an extra few points on that. But I think ultimately it's probably a waste of time, because I don't think speed, although Google do talk about it a lot, I don't think it is a particularly major ranking factor. Obviously, a slow site will not do as well. But those extra split seconds here or there, I don't think are going to make too much difference. Now, you've touched on money and ads and Amazon. Is that how you would traditionally monetize your sites, or do you promote any other affiliate programs or use anything else to make money from your site?
Yeah, so the plan for this project is to split the content 50-50 between commercial and informational. So the plan, it really is to have a diversified income stream between affiliate revenue and then display ad revenue. On the affiliate revenue side, we will 100% start with just purely Amazon products, literally because it's the easiest program to work with. I mean, the content is super easy to upload, and we can pull through all the images from Amazon with the AWP plugin, and our team are trained in using that format and that template. And then on the flip side, on the informational stuff, we'll get it into Ezoic as quickly as we can to get display ads on there. We've got quite a few of our own sites with Ezoic, and they do really well. So we know that if we can generate enough traffic, display ads can sometimes be, even though the RPM typically of a display ad is a lot lower than the RPM of a page with just Amazon, the sheer amount of traffic you can drive to informational content versus commercial content means that sometimes display revenue can be more than Amazon revenue or affiliate revenue anyway. So we want to make sure that we've got a healthy split there. And then as the site gets bigger and we get more traffic to our commercial pages, we will then start looking out to see what affiliate offers we can swap Amazon for, ones which typically pay a higher commission or have a longer cookie duration. But saying that, we've tested this kind of thing with some of our own sites in the past. And sometimes Amazon is the best choice. I mean, it has to be tested on a page-by-page basis and a product-by-product basis almost, because even though sometimes the commission is lower on Amazon and the cookie duration is only 24 hours, the conversion rate more than makes up for the difference. So sometimes just leaving Amazon on there is the right choice.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's kind of what I feel about it as well. And in a lot of respects, that people do buy from Amazon and they buy quickly. They just go over and they can click one button and they can buy. And there's so many other products that they can buy too, which you can also earn commission on if they place them, order them with the stuff that you recommend. So yeah, I do still advocate Amazon, even though some other people have said, Amazon, after they cut the rates, remove them from your site, leave them alone and don't use them anymore. I think especially for new affiliate marketers, that's just not practical, because getting into some of these other programs, I find it quite tricky. Even if you've got a site that's doing quite well, they won't always accept you into their program. Whereas Amazon, generally, if you play by the rules, you can get up and running really quickly, and it's fine.
Just a quick tip as well.
Good. So, go on.
Just a quick tip: if you want to test out different programs and you're finding it difficult to get into, if you sign up to Skimlinks, you're already pre-approved for hundreds of different brands and different programs there. I mean, they've got a pretty big downside in that Skimlink take 25% of your commission. But it's a good quickly test all of these different programs without having to apply individually. And then when you find one that works, you just switch out Skimlinks and apply direct then.
Good tip. Thanks very much. So I think I've nearly gone through my questions. So let's just quickly talk about the money with this project. I guess you've done a spreadsheet, and it's all speculative right now. But how much do you think you're going to be looking to invest into this project to get it all up and running? And then ultimately, how much return do you think you're going to make on that investment?
So in terms of how much we're going to invest, based on the cost that it would cost, like just, you or anyone else who doesn't have the luxury of owning a content agency, essentially to put 1 million words on a website at our current rate would be around $60,000.
Wow,
it's a sizable investment in content. And then obviously we've got just under 7,000 into the domain. And then we probably spend another couple of thousand for the uploading team to actually upload all that content. So overall, we're probably going to be into this project for around $70,000, which is sizable to say the least.
Yeah, it is. It's probably not something that a newcomer would do, but as you're a veteran affiliate marketer, you've obviously made a calculated risk that's a valid investment. And what kind of return then would you expect on that?
Which is cool that you just mentioned that. It's a calculated risk. So the reason that we've decided to do this is literally a calculated risk, and it's based on the methodology that I'm using for my own personal portfolio of expired domains. So we know that I'll explain what I'm doing first, and I'll explain the methodology behind it. So the plan is to build out, and I'm almost there now, to build out 10 sites on expired domains over a period of time, and to seed each one of those with around 100,000 words of content. And then after a certain period of time, so around 12 months, figure out which of those 10 are the winners, essentially. So which of the winning horses. So some sites will perform a lot better, a lot quicker, and I've seen that already within that portfolio, and there are some definite winners there already. And the plan is then to figure out which ones are the winners and to sell off the ones which are not winners for around break even, hopefully. So break even, small profit, slightly small loss, that will be fine, to reinvest all of that money then back into the winners and double and triple down on them, and to turn those sites into beasts, which provide a fantastic ROI on the whole project. So I'm now about 8 months into this journey of my own sites doing this, and we can see that it's working, and we can see that there are some there which are coming up to break even now. So there are ones which would be fine. I don't mind selling those for a break even, but there are some in there now which are doing really well, and I mean they're literally just going up. I update our performance every week, and some of the sites in that stable now are doing literally 25% week on week growth for the last couple of weeks. They've hit that hockey stick growth curve. So the plan is then to reinvest in those, double down on those, start a shotgun campaign, link building campaign on them, add way more content than the initial 100,000, and they will be the ones then which turn out to be the 6-figure websites that I exit for in another 12 months. So it's 24-month plan. The first 12 months are to figure out which are the winners, and the next 12 months then are to double down on the winners and really grow them aggressively. So based on all of that and seeing how that's played out, I mean, we're fairly comfortable now that worst case scenario, like literally worst case scenario, this 1 million word project would break even. And we would be disappointed, but it wouldn't be the end of the world. But on the flip side, if it takes off the way one of the winners does, I mean, we don't know where that would be or what that would look like, but we've picked a niche that's big enough and broad enough that this could be, a very, very sizable website, and we could have a very sizable exit. So yeah, it's kind of finger in the air of where we're going to be. We're comfortable that we're at least going to break even, but we're quietly confident that we're going to do pretty well on it.
But you're not going to put a figure on it just yet. But it could be big. I guess that's the feeling there. Just touching on something you said there. So a lot of people ask me, they've set up a site and been going a few months, and they're not sure whether it's going to be successful or not, whether to carry on working on it, whether to leave it. You've mentioned there that you've got a few sites. Some are definitely winners, some not so much. Is there something that you could identify that makes the difference there between a site that's going to do the hockey stick and go to the moon, and the ones that then just kind of bob along and aren't really worth focusing too much more energy on? Is there anything that you can spot, or is it just a bit more complicated than that?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing definitive. I think the difference is that that was the whole plan initially. Like, I didn't start these websites to put in effort into each one of them. They were all started with a seed amount of content. The content went live, and I just let them sit, and then I was picking the winners. I mean, almost any website can be successful if you're consistent. So I think lots of people get to the point where they're 3, 4, or 5 months in, and they may have not been super consistent, or they give up a little bit too soon. And if they just kept going, I mean, everyone talks about SEO and the recipe for success. The recipe for success is literally good quality content, targeting good keywords with backlinks. I mean, there are other factors that feed into that, like, the technical SEO and the on-page SEO. But I mean, if you've got the basics right of good content with good keywords and good links, you still can see good success, even without all of that other kind of fringe stuff. The other fringe stuff is just to go the extra mile. So yeah, I guess the advice would be just to keep going and be consistent, and set your expectations from the start. If you're starting on a brand new website and you're not outsourcing anything and you're doing all of the content yourself, I mean, have the expectations that you're not going to see lots of traffic for the first 6 months. Have the expectations that you're not going to see much revenue for the first 8 to 12 months, essentially. And if you have that expectation from the start, I think it's a lot easier to ride out that first period of quietness where you almost feel like, what am I doing? Like, nothing's working, nothing's happening.
Yeah, and you can feel despondent and kind of want to give up, but so if you keep trudging on, keep being consistent, keep writing, keep uploading, it should work. But just one other question on this. So you've got these 10 sites. I'd imagine they're all in different niches. Niche must have a big effect on the success of a site, because a lot of people also ask me, they say, I think I've picked the wrong niche. I think this niche is a dead one. I think it's too competitive, or I think there's not enough money in it. Niche must have a big effect on it. And is there any tips you can give to someone in terms of picking a niche that's going to have more legs than others? Or is it just, as you say, sometimes you just have to throw 10 niches at the wall and see which ones stick?
Yeah, it's interesting in that we almost take the opposite view. Like, we're niche agnostic. Like, we stay away from your money, your life niches. We stay away from finance. We stay away from health because of the whole EAT, expertise, authority, and trust, that the additional effort that needs to go in there. But aside from that, I mean, every niche these days, pretty much, unless you're looking at something super, super niche, every niche these days is competitive, and every niche has a website that's built solely to service that niche. The difference is that almost every niche you're able to find like an angle, a way in, or a subset of keywords that are low competition. So it doesn't really matter the niche these days for us. And I think lots of people get caught up on picking the right niche, whereas what they should do is pick a niche and stick with it, something ideally that they're passionate about if they're going to be doing lots of the content, and then figure out on the keyword front, how are we going to tackle this niche? Where are the low competitions? Where are the pockets of places that they can compete, basically, at that low level?
Yeah, there's always going to be opportunities, isn't there? Because of the long tail of keywords that there is, which is pretty much infinite to a certain degree. There's going to be areas within that niche that you can find your space away from everyone else, or at least where other people are not doing as well.
It's on the flip side. Typically, with that question is a little bit needs a little bit more thought, and that's when you're planning out a larger site, like the site that we're planning. I mean, we couldn't just pick a single. We couldn't just go into to the soccer niche, for example, because they would just, we would never be able to write a million words on one single topic there.
No. So you'd go more
Yeah.
for sport, I guess, and then try and
That's it.
go out that way. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I like very specific niches, but then my sites are a lot smaller. And yeah, but the broader the niche, the more opportunities there are to find your areas where you can rank well and get some traffic. Okay, I think we're about done. We've been going for a good hour, and it's been great. But I've got just one other question. I'm going to ask for a tip, basically. If someone were to say to you, I've got my niche website, it seems to be doing pretty well. Is there one thing that I can do that's going to really kind of move the needle for me, that's going to give me that traffic uplift that I need? I've only got a limited amount of time, and I've only got a small amount of money. What should I focus my efforts on that's going to give me the biggest return?
Yeah.
What would you say to me?
It depends if it's an established website or if it's a new website. So if it's an established website, my tip would always be to, if you've already got traffic and you've already got sales coming in, would be to go back and have a look at your top 20% pages that are driving 80% of the traffic. Can you change up the design there? Can you change up the way the information is presented? Can you add in an FAQ section? Can you, what can you do to that top 20% to both increase conversion rates and revenue of what you've already got without increasing traffic? And then what can you do to try and increase traffic to those pages? And typically that just involves updating, adding a little bit more content, maybe fleshing out the buyer's guide a little bit more. If you've got 10 product reviews in there, maybe add another 3 product reviews just to make it the best piece of content that you can. If it's a new website, it's pretty difficult to recommend one thing aside from just more content to keep going. Because that's essentially what it comes down to is like we mentioned, is just content and links. I would recommend, though, to, like, one of the biggest time factors for us when we work with clients or when we start a new project is that initial upfront time investment into keyword research and how that all plans out. And it's because if you get that part wrong initially, I mean, you could end up writing tons and tons of content for keywords that don't have the right search intent, so you'll never rank anyway. So, you could be writing content that when you search for it on Google displays e-commerce websites and not affiliate websites, and Google will never show then an affiliate piece of content when all the results on page 1 are an e-commerce sites. So you need to make sure that you've got the right intent, and also you need to make sure that it's achievable for the website. I mean, new websites, obviously the search volume is lower and it's the long tail end of the keyword, but over time, as the website gains more authority and it gets more backlinks, essentially you move up the pecking order in terms of your competitors, and that then opens up new keyword opportunities. So you always have to be, as you move up that pecking order, you always have to be going back and revisiting your keyword plan, see what new opportunities have now opened up, because you can now start competing for different keywords with a little bit more search volume. And it's just like a cat and mouse game, essentially. You do the best you can based on where you are in that pecking order. And then as you move up, you rework the plan and you start again until you keep moving up and up.
Yeah. So you'd say, especially for new people, that keyword research phase and making sure that your content plan is, around the right kind of content is probably worth looking at again, maybe if you're looking at, or just revisiting it, because I think you're right there. A lot of people maybe do it at the beginning, I don't think to go back and revisit it and do some more keyword research and maybe try to go for some of those more competitive domains once they've got a bit of authority in the space. Good. Okay, well, I think we'll end it there. If people want to find out more about this project and get up to date with everything you're doing and obviously ultimately find out how successful it is, where do they need to go?
So you can reach out to us at our website. So we've got a chat on there, which sends a message to me and Mark on Facebook, and that's nichewebsite.builders. And then we've also got two Facebook groups. So we've got Niche Website Builders Facebook group, where we'll be posting updates in there. And then if you're looking to buy or sell a website, we've got Niche Website Flippers, where it's kind of like an active group where there's people buying and selling websites in the group. So they're the main areas. Or, I mean, shoot me a message on Facebook if you want. Adam Smith. I'm probably the most generic name in the world. Adam Smith.
There won't be many of those on there, yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty responsive. I mean, this is our mine and Mark's life. Like we love this industry. We love talking to people. We love helping people. So, reach out to us if you want. We can arrange like.
You're not currently YouTubing or anything at the moment, no? In terms of
not currently. I mean, so far we've just been trying to keep up with the demand for our agency business. But I think we're in a good position now where we can start focusing on more the marketing side of things. So we've definitely got plans to start our own podcast and talk to other people in the industry. But yeah, all that will be coming in the next few months, and we'll also be running some dedicated promotion and some resources essentially to let people know how this case study is going on, what we've done, where we're at, kind of the initial early results, and then more excitingly, that hockey stick growth that we see as we progress in the project.
Well, I think we'll definitely need to schedule a follow-up in a few months on here so that you can come on and tell us how it's all going and how much content you've got up and all that stuff. I will say that you're introduced to me through Doug, friend of the channel. So I think if people head over to Doug's channel, they can find a little bit more of you. I think you've done a few videos with Doug over there, haven't you? So all this stuff that we've talked about, of course, I will put links to below this video. But yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for joining me. And yeah, we look forward to seeing how this all works out. And as I say, I will be doing some more videos going forward as Adam and the team help me with some of my stuff. But yeah, you'll find all links below. And for now, thank you for joining me, Adam.
Thanks, Alex. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your audience time. Thank you very much.
No worries. We'll see you soon.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye.
So that brings us to the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember to check the description for all the links to everything that we've talked about, including that link to my landing page on their website, where you'll get access to some discount coupons. I'd love to know what you think. I'd also love to know if you've ever used any expired domains to build a website. Let me know in the comments. I do read all the comments, and I will try to reply to as many as I possibly can. If you're not yet subscribed, you can do so by clicking on my face. Why not check out the vlog channel? And here are a couple more videos. They've been chosen specially for you, so I hope you enjoy them. Until next time, bye for now.